how to persevere through tough times, how to become resilient during those difficult times, especially in business. I feel like most people, and you're struggling to find consistent clients and consistent revenue, or even the type of reach that you want to see. What many people have done is listen to motivational videos or learn some key skills in terms of selling. But what they might be finding is that the very hard work, the very hustle and striving through a challenge is the very thing that's holding them back. Because as Einstein said, you can't solve a problem from the level of consciousness that it was created. So what we're going to do in this episode of the Awaken Your Business podcast is list 3 things, 3 traps that people find themselves in that keep them stuck during difficult times. And we're going to go over 5 questions to heighten your level of consciousness so that you can become the solution that you're after. Let's dive in. Hello to you, my soul family, and welcome to another episode of the Awaken Your Business podcast. Yes, my name's Tyson Sharp. If you're new here, welcome. Feel free, if you haven't already, to click subscribe and click the bell so you get notified whenever I release new content. But for this episode, we're talking all about how to persevere through challenges, how to persevere, how to have resilience through the challenging times, especially when it comes to business. And I'm sure, like many people, you're looking for more strategies, more ways in which you can have consistent clients, consistent flow of the right clients, consistent flow of income, but you may be finding that's challenging. You may be finding that you're struggling through this hard work and this hustle. And what I found with working with so many people is the very hard work, the very hustle, the very trying to go out there and strive and fight through something can be the very block that's stopping you moving forward. It can almost be like the finger trap. As you start to fight out of the finger trap, as you put more effort in, the more stuck you become. But it's only when you start to release, it's only when you start to relax. Have you ever found that? When you start to relax, you start to break free. And that's what I find when it comes to business sometimes. Now, hard work and hustle can benefit you. It can be in your expansion. But what you may have found that if you are consistently going out there and doing the hard work and hustle, and you're fighting through a challenge and you're trying to find solutions, have you ever found that you actually don't break through? But then when you find, if you separate yourself from the outcome, if you actually start to relax, if you actually start to breathe and let go, solutions start to flow through. So before I go on to list the 5 key questions you can ask yourself to heighten your level of consciousness so you can solve your challenge from a very, very different place, I want to list the 3 traps that people find themselves in that keep them stuck during tough times. So trap number 1 is trying to achieve from safety. What do I mean here? It's almost like you have a safety bubble. You have a little bit of a comfort window, a comfort bubble. And as soon as something comes outside of the comfort bubble, you reach uncertainty. Now, a lot of people want to strive for success. They want to go out there and achieve at a high level. They want to create something big. They want to create a difference for those they feel called to help. And what I found is that many people are trying to learn strategies, tools, tactics from a place of safety, from a place of, I need to know all of the steps, and I need to know if I do these steps, I'll receive and achieve this outcome because I can see the steps and I can do it with a level of safety so that I don't have to fail, so that I don't have to face more and more uncertainty. And so a lot of people are trying to achieve their goals while trying to remain comfortable, while trying to avoid failure, while trying to avoid to look bad and look silly and be judged. But really, they're trying to achieve a big level of achievement from safety and from comfort. Now, let me ask you, if you were to achieve something of a grand scale, something that is your heart's calling, are you ever going to do that from safety? Are you ever going to do it from comfort? Or will you need to develop some resilience and start to welcome in any uncomfortable emotion that comes along the way, and also learn how to expand your bubble? Because as you expand your bubble, not only do you start to become comfortable with achieving that outcome and overcoming that problem, but also everything else that's encompassed in that window as well. Everything else that's in the bubble that you've expanded also becomes a challenge that you can overcome. And so what's expanded in this bubble is you. What's expanded in this bubble is your comfort zone so that you can become more. So ask yourself this question: are you trying to achieve and learn some tactics, tools, and strategies, learn the 3 steps, the 5 steps, the 7 steps to achieve this outcome in order to achieve from safety so that you can avoid failure? We are not all about that here. We're about feeling fully and expanding your level of comfort, so you can deal with the uncertainty and you can actually provide more resourcefulness into your life. The second trap that I find is lack of resourcefulness. Lack of resourcefulness. What do I mean by this? We often have 2 or 3 main resources we go to and main strategies to solve a challenge, and we go to those consistently, right? It might be, one of them may be hard work. The other one may be passion. The other one may be doubt. Whenever we're faced with something that's a challenge or something that's a tough time outside of our comfort zone, we go to doubt. We then go to hard work and hustle and try and fight through, and we try and use it through passion, for example. And then we go to those 3 time and time and time again. Or your 3 might be fear, and then hard work, and then probably try to implement a certain strategy that you learned from a coach or learned from a teacher. And then you go to those 3 time and time and time again. And they may have worked in the past, which is why you go to them. But here's the question. If you are going to those 3 consistently, are they going to be the answers all of the time? Or will it help you to have a breadth of resources within you? What if you're able to inject creativity or flow or relaxation or love or playfulness? What if you're able to use more and more strategies from a place of true creativity? What will happen then? And if you find yourself consistently using the hard work and hustle and striving, I actually did a full video explaining the 3 ways that striving is harming you and what to do about it. So I'll put the link below if you ever want to check that out, and you want to check that out after this video. So ask yourself that question. If you're trying to tackle a challenge from a place of limited resources, or are you using all of you? Are you being creative? Are you being resourceful? Are you being playful? Are you being loving? Are you being passionate? And are you injecting all of that into overcoming this challenge? The third trap is creating goals from ego. What do I mean by this? Before I dive into this, I want you to ask yourself, write down all of the goals that you have. And out of all the goals, ask yourself, how many of these goals are my achievement goals from insecurity? What do I mean by this? I found the vast majority of entrepreneurs have goals in terms of clients or income or freedom or whatever they want to achieve. And it's from ego meaning and from insecurity meaning I need to achieve that, and if I don't, I'm worse off. I need to achieve that because when I do, I'll feel better about myself. And when I achieve that, I'll feel more joyful, I'll feel more free, I'll feel more abundant. And therefore you're attached to the outcome. Where's the problem with that? Your ego has a very, very different path than your soul. Your ego wants to achieve these certain things and says, the answer's outside of me. The answer's in my money or in my clients or in how I look on social media. And as soon as I achieve that, I'll be happy. What your soul wants is your expansion. And what your soul wants is for you to find out who and what you are, which is so much more than what you can achieve. So therefore, when your goals are from ego, when your goals are from insecurity, you have this in a conflict. Now, your ego wants to achieve this, and your soul saying, no, you need to learn you're fine without it. You need to learn who and what you are is so much more than that. So look at the goals that you have written down. Look at the goals that you have set in your business. And ask yourself from a place of truthfulness. Is this from ego? Is this from insecurity? How will I feel if I don't achieve it? What will I feel then? Will I feel just as loved? Will I feel just as safe? Will I feel just as enough? If not, you may have goals from ego, you may have goals from insecurity, and that's the very inner conflict that's holding you back. Therefore, you will never achieve how much you strive and how much you hustle, because your soul's like, hang on, you're ready for a deeper lesson. You're ready for a deeper lesson. You're ready to learn who and what you are, and it's outside of achievement, which is where the next piece is going to come in, when you can ask yourself some resourceful questions on how to heighten your level of consciousness. But before we get there, really start to pay attention. Are your goals from insecurity? Are your goals from ego? And how can you start to work through this? And how can you start to learn how you can feel just as loved, just as safe, just as enough if you achieve them or not? That's when you come from a real place of resourcefulness. On to the next part of this video, the 5 key questions to heighten your consciousness. So question number 1, what are your primary patterns? In order to figure out what's in your expansion, you have to know what is your primary pattern been in the past, because what's in your expansion will probably be the opposite. So what's been your primary pattern? For example, is it mostly relaxation and calm? Or is it hustle? Is it hard work? Is it striving? Right? Is it more towards love, more towards hate, more towards, is it more towards, am I coming from a place of strategy, right? Or am I coming from a place of flow? What are your primary patterns up until now? Because when you understand your primary pattern, you can start to recognize what other sides of me need to be developed. What other sides of me can I expand on? Because if I'm relying more on flow, I will expand myself by using more structure. And then I can use the structure to harness my flow, or vice versa. If I'm always into the strategy and learning off a bunch of different coaches and gurus on what to do for my marketing and messaging and my sales, it may be in your expansion to also just go with the flow, to also, go where life takes you, feel what feels most aligned with you and go with it. And then you can build your strategies on top of that. But recognize for this key question, what is your primary pattern? And then you can start to discover what else can you adopt, what other sides of you can you condition and build so that you come from a place of wholeness. Question number 2 is, what does this mean to me? When I'm faced with this problem, when I'm faced with this difficult time, why is it a difficult time? It's a difficult time because of what I'm making it mean, right? Many of you may have been doing this work in personal development, and you can see everything comes down to meaning. No matter what is happening externally to you, your emotions, your level of resourcefulness is always determined by the meaning you give it. So ask yourself, what does this mean about me? What does this mean about my business? What does this mean about my future? What does this mean about my ability to contribute? What does this challenge mean about life? Is life something that I'm trying to overcome and always fight because I think life is a series of problems? Or is it an opportunity? Is it all happening for me? Is this harnessing my ability to grow? What does this challenge mean to you? Feel free to write that down. Write down, what does this mean to you? What stories are you telling yourself about this challenge? And you can start observing that. So when you observe it, it's actually not controlling your emotions anymore. When you observe something, you're able to step away from it and separate yourself from it. What you'll find is a huge level of release when you're able to do this. You're able to see your challenge from a very, very different perspective. Question number 3 are, what are the lessons it's here to teach you? What are the lessons? Every single challenge in life is giving you something. It's giving you something. For example, every tough challenge is allowing you to expand beyond yourself. It's allowing you to expand beyond what you thought was necessary before. It's allowing you to grow. It's allowing you to drop some smaller stories. So if you were to solve this challenge, if this challenge it was non-existent, what skills, what resources, internal resources, what sides of you would be conditioned and developed And how would you apply those sides of you into this challenge? What would need to be strengthened in terms of your love, your creativity, your passion, your flow, your patience? What's being called? What is life calling you to expand right now? What is life calling to you in terms of lessons that you need to learn? Because if you can look at the lessons that you're learning, if you can look at the sides of you that are ready to be developed, you can see how this problem and this challenge is no longer a problem. It's something that's helping you. It's something that is really aiding your growth. And so really identifying, how is this helping me grow? Where are the gifts? Where are the hidden gifts that my ego and my mind can't see? And feel into your heart and ask yourself that question. What are the inner gifts here? What am I learning? How is this all happening for me? Is it my love, my compassion, my understanding, my patience? What is it that I'm developing? And how am I developing that because of this challenge? Really start to meditate on that. Another piece here is, how is that helping you give? The more you grow, the more you give. How is that helping you give? How is it helping you contribute at deeper levels? If you're in business, you're here to help people. You're here to solve problems. You're here to solve challenges. How are you being the example of what's possible because of this challenge, because of this difficulty, and how is it here to serve you? Question number 4 is, what small story are you willing to let go of? What small story? When you have a challenge, when you have a life difficulty, it's generally because a side of you is fading away. A side of you is being pulled away. Another way to describe this is, a side of you that's not true is dying. So what is that? I'll give you an example. When I had a challenge in life, it was generally to do with finances. Whether I was just starting my coaching business, whether I was working at the restaurant, whatever it was, I had a challenge and a problem called money, called finances. Really what I was being called to was saying, there's a side of me that needed income to feel safe. It needed income to feel secure. And so this challenge was allowing me to outgrow the small side of me that said, I am how much money I make. And you'll notice a very similar thing when you're faced with a challenge, when you're faced with a tough time. There's generally the side of you that thinks it's a tough time, the side of you that thinks it's a problem, the side of you that thinks it shouldn't happen is the side that's dying. And you're ready to heighten your consciousness to have a fresh perspective on life, on how we live in a benevolent universe, how everything's happening for you. And in fact, this side of you is just being developed, and you're starting to release the smaller stories so a much larger truth can flow through. So what is that for you? Question number 5 is, who do I need to be? This is a key question. Who do I need to be if this challenge problem did not exist? For this not to exist, who do I need to be? How do I need to act? What do I need to think? What do I need to feel? If this just wasn't an issue, if this just didn't exist, and I just moved forward consistently from a place of love, from a place of resourcefulness, from a place of creativity, who do I need to be? What do I need to believe? What do I need to feel? What do I need to use in terms of internal strategies? And what you'll find is, whenever you step into the version of you who's already solved the challenge, who doesn't even see it as a challenge, you'll start to notice everything outside will start to reflect that. Everything outside is just the mirror. Everything is the mirror in terms of who you're being. And this particular challenge is also just the mirror to who you're being. And so when you start to shift within and say, I'm going to become and operate from a place of being a new version of myself, the more true version of myself, you'll start to see the challenge itself will slowly dissolve. It'll slowly not only dissolve, or it will sort itself out in some cases, but you'll also get offered the solution from within. And you have unlimited amount of solutions flowing within you every single time you reach your heart. Every single time you reach your heart, you just have an abundance of answers and solutions and keys and other higher level opportunities, because you've stepped into a new version of yourself, a more true version of yourself. So ask yourself that question: who do I need to be for this challenge to not exist? One more thing I'll add here is that you can see you can apply this to any challenge to do with your health, your relationships, finances, business, of course. You can apply this in your life by heightening your level of consciousness, because you become the solution. You become the solution that you're after, instead of observing it as something that you need to be stuck in. You have the ability to heighten your level of consciousness and see the challenge for what it is. That's the opportunity to grow, so that you have more to give. But now it's time for you to share your truth. I'd love to know which of the 3 traps resonated with you, and which of the 5 questions helped you most. Feel free to comment below, and I look forward to reading them. I look forward to replying and having a conversation moving back and forth. And I'll see you in the Serving Circle on Facebook. Take care, guys.